Has Wildcat basketball legend Steve Kerr become a leading voice on social issues, including gun control? And is anyone listening? Did the U of A cheerleader who got kicked out of the basketball game for heckling an ASU player motivate the players? And should Arizona driver's licenses offer a third gender option for transgenders? These stories and more next on the 520. Welcome to the 520. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Marty Mata the Fourth. Thanks for joining us.
We have a serious topic to get to, so let's get right to it. In the wake of yet another mass shooting in which 17 people were killed at a school in Florida, Wildcat legend and Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr addressed a politically charged topic, gun control, and emotional. Kerr blasted lawmakers. Take a listen.
Well, nothing has been done. It doesn't seem to matter to our government that children are being shot to death day after day in schools. It doesn't matter that people are being shot at a concert, at a movie theater. It's not enough, apparently, to move our leadership, our government, the people who are running this country to actually do anything. That's demoralizing. But we can do something about it. We can vote people in who actually have the courage to protect people's lives.
Now, we often ask ourselves, do we care? And this is one of those, do we care? Do we care what Steve Kerr has to say?
I do care, first off, because I agree. And I'd like to give a pat on the back to the journalist that asked the question to begin with. And I care because I agree. He's absolutely right. There hasn't been any sort of action plan. There hasn't been any sort of forward progress. And here we are again to the point of where now we're looking to Steve Kerr for answers instead of our politicians because we like what he has to say more.
I think we're looking for Steve Kerr for answers because he has earned that platform. As you may recall, Steve Kerr's father was assassinated, shot twice in the head in Beirut in 1984. And as a result of that, I think Steve Kerr has been able to take up these social issues, including gun control, but has a powerful voice with experience, someone who's experienced it, and someone who can intelligently speak on these issues. That's why, and great point there, the journalists keep asking Steve Kerr about these social issues because Steve Kerr has the intelligence to answer beautifully questions on these issues and make sense.
So then the question is, should they keep asking him these questions? He answers them so well. Should they keep asking him these questions?
Absolutely. And I think Steve Kerr should continue to use that platform to be able to be a leading voice. And one thing we really have to stop thinking about how come athletes don't have the right to speak. Athletes do have the right to speak. We just seem to think, okay, they just play the game of basketball or the game of football, but they're also members of our society. They also have a voice. Since when do we put limitations on who gets to speak and who doesn't?
Of course, I couldn't agree with you more. And if Steve Kerr is going to use this platform that he's earned to do something as positive as this, I say let it rip.
And I say his voice is becoming more and more powerful, and he's making those statements absolutely awesome.
Of course, of course. The cream is rising to the top. Arizona moved up 3 spots to the number 14 spot in the AP Top 25 college basketball rankings thanks to DeAndre Aten, the projected #1 pick in the eyes of many, dominated down the stretch to lead the Wildcats to a Top 25 win against ASU 77-70. The 7-footer had 25 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, why doesn't Sean Miller design more of these plays that we're looking at right here?
Well, 2 plays ago, what you saw was Aten getting the ball and dropping an assist for a wide open shot. That is exactly why Aten needs to touch the ball every time down the court. Hey. I mean, come on, Miller.
So then the question is, now that, look, he's getting so much play, he's potentially the #1 pick. The entire nation's covering this kid. now
it doesn't matter if they double team him. I know
so,
where you're going
yeah,
with this.
so now
it doesn't matter
the entire game plan is anchored around DeAndre Aten. Can the rest of the team perform
and it should be.
with his amount of touches? Can the rest of the team perform with his touches?
And the reason why is because you mentioned one key stat right now. It doesn't matter that he had 18 points, 30 rebounds, or whatever the case may be. A 7'1" center had 4 assists. What does that tell you? When he's down low and they're double teaming, he's so good, he can find the open man. And that's why the last 2 games, Arizona's been playing so good. So what I heard was Arizona, after losing to UCLA and Washington, back-to-back games, they had a secret team meeting. And you know what I'm thinking? Because Sean Miller kind of said everything. Or after the last 2 wins, we win as, or we're as successful as DeAndre Aten is. Where he goes, we go. Guess what that team meeting probably said? Get him the ball. Alonzo Trier, stop dribbling up top. Stop being a ball hog. Give the big man the ball because he is our best player, and we all know it. And he can do so much more than any other player on that court.
Without DeAndre Aten, how successful are the Arizona Wildcats playing a top 25 team?
Well, they're not, but he's on the team.
So if an entire game plan is anchored around DeAndre Aten, can Dusan Ristic, can Raleigh Alkins, can they outperform their contemporaries?
He can do so many other things than score, and he's just a threat. And Aten can hit that 10-footer, he can hit that 18-footer, and he can hit that 3-pointer. Okay, but he does so much more. He rebounds. He plays great defense. He's handling guards.
Talk about the other team, the rest of the team, the rest of the team.
It goes through him.
The rest of the team, the rest of the team. Are their stats able to match with DeAndre Aten when you take him away?
Yes, because he gives them the ball and they shoot open threes and their statistics go up.
4 times they
All right, is anyone surprised that a Pac-12 ref ejected a U of A cheerleader from the ASU rivalry game for heckling a Sun Devil player? Well, Pac-12 official Randy McCall, that guy right there, said, quote, he was yelling using a megaphone to call out people by name, which is not acceptable. Not today, brother. You may have heard the cheerleader say, not today, Remy. Of course, he was referring to ASU point guard Remy Martin, who was shooting free throws right there. Anything wrong with that? I mean, how ridiculous is a Pac-12
ridiculous?
Come on, guys. Bobby Hurley is up in their face. He's red as can be, yelling, hands behind his back, mocking them, and they can't throw him out or throw a technical against him. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely pathetic.
And my question is this a reflection of the security guard, the venue security guards, or the refs mediating what they can mediate? When they can't mediate Bobby Hurley, they mediate the cheerleader.
All right.
Well, up next, the Wildcats hit the road to travel the unfriendly Oregon Trail. The Cats take on Oregon State on Thursday. Tip-off is at 1 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. The Cats pulled off a tough one in their first meeting, 62-53. The Wildcats then travel to Corvallis on Saturday to take on the Ducks. The first game actually starts at 7. This one starts at 9:15 on ESPN. The Cats beat the Ducks 90-83 in their first meeting.
All right, we got to be quick on this one, but I will say this. This is no easy road trip. In the last 6 years under Coach Sean Miller, going to Oregon, Cats are batting .500 at Oregon State and at Oregon, 3-3. Not an easy trip. Arizona has got go to Aten, like I said, let him touch the ball every time down, and let's win these 2 games. Must wins for Arizona, in my opinion.
Of course.
To move up in the projected seedings for the NCAA tournament. Right now, we're still at number 4. I think we need to move up to at least 3 to have a shot to reach the Elite 8.
And for me,
and further.
Defense nearly gave away the farm against the Devils. Don't trust the defense. Take your time on offense. Don't put your defense in a position where you have to trust them. Hold on to the ball as often as you can.
All right, moving on, man. Animal rights activists have been successful banning cockfighting and even greyhound dog racing in Arizona, but they haven't been able to ban certain rodeo events like calf roping, an event that stops the calf running full speed straight in its tracks, yanking its neck straight back. Meanwhile, Tucson's celebration of the cowboy, known as La Fiesta de los Vaqueros, is now in its 93rd year. Tucson Rodeo is one of the top 25 rodeos in the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, or PRCA, events in the country.
I would like to give the sport of rodeo, a sort of pat on the back, because while we're watching this, and it does look absolutely outrageous, just like in the NFL, there have been so many measures to keep the interest of both parties.
And you're right. Looking at the Bulls, they're treated like athletes.
Yeah, of course they are.
And they're pampered like athletes.
Of course, yeah. And they do such a good job taking care of them. We can't repercussion them.
And I agree. It's a little bit different than what we know as cockfighting. The state banned that, obviously, because of the. I don't have to get into the bloody, gruesome, gory details of cockfighting, but unlike greyhound dog racing and the greyhounds that are just mistreated, a lot of them, after their careers are over, are dumped in the desert. I mean, we're seeing that. Dumped in the desert to just die or let the coyotes eat them. These animals, these stocks, they are not treated badly like that at all. I mean, and I get it. Some people are upset because they wrap a rope around the bulls, you know, to make them buck. But guess what? I will say this. I don't think people get as mad about the rodeo when it comes to especially like bull riding or some of the mistreatment of some of the animals to get them to perform, because the bulls have a chance to get even. Have you seen what those bulls do?
Of course, yeah.
They get a hold of one of the Cowboys.
Thank you, Steve. With the attendance up at Rojo Downs, it has been a fight between horse racing supporters and youth soccer. So last year, the Pima County extended the contract for the Rojo Downs Foundation to continue horse racing through 2021. The county previously thought about kicking out the horses, knocking down the stables, and building 18 soccer fields in its place. So what's changed?
I'll tell you what's changed, what you're looking at right there. I mean, it's become a cultural event. Look at the bandas that are playing, the Mexican regional music. People are coming out, they're dancing, they're making it a cultural event. And guess what? The county is betting on Rojo Downs to be a huge success, because guess what? Money, baby. That's what it amounts to. You know, you can bring in soccer fields and all, but does it have to be either one or the other? Why can't it be both? Why are the soccer folks fighting the horse folks about this when they can share the same venue? It's kind of ridiculous, but that's the county's fault. The county created that fight.
Agreed. I like that the focus of the county is not replace. What it should now be is rebuild. There's so many soccer facilities in the inner city, down on the south side at Rodeo Park, that are completely dismantled from the lack of maintenance and everything in between. So they should put their focus on that if they need some more
Once
soccer.
again, the county, just step out of the way. Let the Rojo Downs Foundation run it like a business. And you know what? If you're going to tout, Korean baseball players coming to Keno Field and with the few followers that come to the city as, oh, they're bringing so much tax money to the city, then you better recognize how many people are coming from Nogales, Sonora to spend a Saturday and a Sunday at the horse track every weekend. And that's why they've extended the season from just a couple of weeks to now through the end of March.
And you said cultural event. If there's one thing I know Tucson can do, it's throw a cultural event. The swap meet it's nearly a nightclub. We love it.
I'm glad the Rojo Downs is doing good.
Of course.
Well, it's a must. The 520 puts TUSD's governing board on blast. Things got a little heated between board president Michael Hicks and Rachel Sedgwick during last week's meeting. Take a listen to this.
I have heard all board members here.
Sedgwick, please do not call me a white supremacist again. It's...
That is not what I said.
And then the two continue arguing with each other in their next recess. Wow. Can't hear what they're saying, but exactly why TUSD is dysfunctional and all board members gone. Someone needs to run against all of them, get them out of there. This is pathetic, it's ridiculous, and it's embarrassing that they can't even conduct business for the kids of Tucson, the largest school district in Pima County.
In Pima County, and there's so much pointing fingers that at this point it's turned into a competition. It's turned into a my word versus your word. They're too busy trying to win one over on each other instead of focusing, not to not to put it black and white, instead of not focusing on the kids, they're not focusing on making any progress.
Well, to put it black and white, though, you know, both have been accused of racism, especially in their vote against Mexican American studies.
Yeah, of course.
And here they are, they can't even get along to be able to figure out what they want to do with some of the schools. And that's what that vote was really all about. Instead, they're fighting with each other. But check this out. Back to Mexican American studies. If TUSD doesn't do anything, we could be facing, TUSD could be faced with another lawsuit because the federal government said, bring back Mexican American studies. And what are they doing? Fighting amongst each other, calling each other racist.
We're not even asking them to get along. We're not even asking them to get along. We're just
Do
asking
business.
them to do business.
Do
They
your
can't
job.
do their job.
It's that simple. Well, all right, let's jump right into Do We Care? As you know, by now, we're not just a sports show. We like to sprinkle in a few community issues, break them down, and ask ourselves, do we care? Well, I'll start. A Democratic lawmaker from Phoenix is introducing House Bill 2492 that would offer driver's license applicants a third gender option to give transgenders and non-binary Arizonans a chance to identify as male or female so they can more accurately represent themselves on official state documents. Do we care?
First of all, there's a difference between sex and gender. Sex is a matter of chromosomes. Gender is a social construct. If I myself am a male due to my amount of chromosomes, and I identify as a female, I dress like a female, my hair is long, my clothes assimilate to a female's wardrobe, I get pulled over and my ID says male, don't you think that's gonna throw little bumps in the road as far as efficiency? I think this is a fantastic idea. On that aspect, on second, it's finally a step in the right direction.
I agree with you. Well said. And I'm just going to say this. It's about time we recognize and give respect to people who may not identify as male or female, and the transgender community deserves that.
Agreed. I agree. I couldn't. If I do say so myself. And a Republican lawmaker is proposing a bill to put a salary cap on public employees so that no state or county city employee makes more than twice as much as the governor, who earns $95K a year or 8 times the salary as a member of a legislature, who makes 24 grand a year. Do we care?
Well, we don't care if someone makes more money than state legislators. They shouldn't be making $24,000 a year, first of all, in my opinion, the way they are governing this state, especially when it comes to funding education. But this bill right here is aimed at one individual. His name is Chuck Huckleberry. You know what his title is? Pima County Administrator. You know how much he makes? $280,000. You know what he's asking for this year? An $8,000 raise on top of that. You know what his total package is? Like $360,000 a year with health benefits. That doesn't include his pension. You know what he gets paid more than? Phoenix, Maricopa County Administrator. You know what he gets paid more than? Lake County Administrator. 3 times the size of Pima County. And then you look at Pima County, wildcat subdivisions, bad roads, can't fix anything, and we want to pay him that much money. I say put a cillion on it.
This bill is absolutely fantastic. We just saw recently Maricopa County Community District. Community District, it's a mouthful. They just cut all 4 of their football programs and punishing the kids instead of cutting what they can cut, which is the salaries of administrators. This is a fantastic bill. I couldn't agree more.
All right, when it comes to safety scores, U of A ranks 233rd out of 243 schools, according to alarm.org, the official website for the National Council for Home Safety and Security. U of A's violent crime score was a 24, and its property crime was 612. Do we care?
The university itself, there's so many kids from out of state. They're from California, they're from Texas, they're from Colorado, everywhere but Tucson. And to the left of the university, we have the south side of town. To the right of the university, we have Fort Lowenstone. We have some pretty dingy parts of town. So of course, the locals are going to take advantage of it the best they can that these kids are from out of state.
Look, I'll say this quickly.
Makes sense to me.
We're out of time, but I'll say this quickly. I think the problems within the athletic department has spilled over to this study because we've seen some violent crimes committed by football players and coaches, okay, which I'm sure weighed into this. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of stolen bikes on that campus, which seems to make it a lot more dangerous than what it is, right?
Of
All right.
course.
So you've heard the phrase, oh, no, you didn't. Well, here at the 520, we're not afraid to tell it like it is with, oh, yes, we did. I will get dibs on this and start first. So, in the wake of the mass school shooting in Florida in which 17 people were killed, including innocent children, why is America still afraid to admit we have a gun problem? Does gun control really mean taking away one's guns? Why is it there are 88.8 guns per 100 people, or 270 million guns in the U.S.? Why have more armed citizens failed to deter the rising number of mass shootings? Should the average person have more firepower than a soldier fighting on the battlefield, or more firepower than the average police officer? Why do gun activists proclaim no one shall infringe on their Second Amendment rights, but shoot down one's First Amendment rights to free speech? If guns don't kill, then why are AR-15s made to kill? Why is it that an 18-year-old can legally buy an AR-15 assault rifle but not a handgun? If the answer is because you can't conceal an AR-15, then how was a Florida mass shooter able to conceal his assault rifle? Why are more people likely to be killed by a gun in the household than on the streets? For the record, I do not own a gun. However, I should be able to exercise my Second Amendment right to bear a firearm if and when I choose to. But do I really need to arm myself with a machine gun? People, stop the BS. And for heaven's sakes, politicians, stop with the thoughts and prayers after every mass shooting. Do something and stop being pathetic cowards and prostitutes to the NRA. I said it.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. And Fox News host Laura Ingraham has now gone down in history as one of the most ignorant journalists by telling LeBron James to shut up and dribble. All because LeBron James was exercising his freedom of speech and criticizing President Trump. LeBron was asked what he thought about Trump. He responded by stating, "The president does not understand the people." LeBron was referring to underprivileged citizens. Ingraham then lashed out on her racially charged show on Fox News by stating, quote, "Must they run their mouths like this?" She then went on to say, quote, "This is what happens when you leave high school a year early to join the NBA. Keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble," end quote. Laura, in my opinion, your inaptitude sticks out like a sore thumb here. Why not put your college degree to good use here instead of trying to sound so obsequious to a man that has divided this country to levels I have not witnessed in my young lifetime? Your statement disobeys your own patriotic values and belittles an entire demographic. While you feel so disenfranchised by an NBA athlete making political headlines, it's giving the kids back home hope. Hope that one day they will overcome their systematic glass ceiling, and when they do, they will not abuse their platform and say, "Your word is absolutely worthless because of your background."
I hate to make this about race, but let's call it what it is. She calls out LeBron James, a black athlete, tells him to shut up and dribble, okay? She didn't say that to Steve Kerr.
She didn't say that to Steve Kerr, and that's the worst part about this, is I didn't like how her rebuttal was not anchored towards his political views. It was anchored at him personally. She is incapable of coming up with an intelligent statement at that point.
Well said, bro, Chacho. All right, bottom line, our goal is to tell it like it is because it's all about giving voice to opinions even if you don't agree. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Marty Mata IV. Join us next week on the 520.